40 horsepower each pull.
How was it?
Amazing, so much different. Like it runs like it's supposed to, but like on steroids.
Okay, cool. I thought I had a boost leak. What's up, guys? So we are back today. We have the M Coupe, but we are not doing a video on the M Coupe. We do need to do a whole maintenance on this car though. Haven't changed the oil, haven't done anything on this car. Not even spark plugs. Last like probably 4,000 miles. Tires probably gonna need to be changed soon. But she's a trooper, she just goes. Check it out, but this is what we're gonna be doing today. Cut out to the M3, look at this build. So this is a real M3 turbo. Built motor, I was told, 2.5, but he doesn't know if it's built for turbo or what. He bought the car, did some work on it, had a bunch of issues. He fixed most of the issues. We have a harness issue. He came in, I noticed right away the car was on 3 cylinders. It was backfiring. He said, oh, I need a little bit more power, but I found out one of the injector clips was actually not working right. So we're gonna go ahead and put a brand new injector clip. We're gonna pin it into the harness, fix that issue, and then we'll have her hopefully on 4 cylinders and making some power.
I don't know what it really runs like. Yeah. 2 years of ownership, and I'm waiting to get the wow.
I think you've been running in 3 cylinders for a while, so.
Well, hopefully she's okay.
Nah, it should be fine. It needs a little bit more pep.
It needs a lot more pep.
Yeah, well, 4 cylinders will help. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this with a brand new connector. So we need to test this here and ride it out. Cool. All right, you want to fire her up? See.
Which one is worse?
Well, it could be now because it could be too rich. Start it up again.
Oh, I see. Dude, be a superhero today. I'm not expecting anything except for a better tune than I have.
But you saw how like before when you rev it and misfired?
Yeah, no,
now when you rev
hopefully we can delete that part from the video. I'm so embarrassed. Like I didn't.
That's part of
the learn. It's all part of the process. What do we call it? The joy of ownership. I want you like in a safe place, okay? It's gonna be something going down over here. Exhaust gases, taking power.
Coming out of the breather box is an indication it has it's either got a built motor, has a lot of blow by it, or it has something going on. Yeah, she was very rich too.
Why all the smoke coming out the back? But it's not the seals on the turbo because the turbo was just rebuilt, right? I hope.
That's your baseline.
Wow.
That's why I felt so.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is it possible to grow from there?
Yeah.
Like, you think it'll make it more than that, or?
It better make more than that. I rev it, but it cut me out about 5,500.
That's what I was saying. You look in the settings.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
an RPM cut at 55, I think. That
No,
someone put in there.
it's running too rich.
Well, it's also in there. I saw it under all the safety parameters
Okay,
set up.
I'll double check. That was just a baseline. So I'll double check everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know shit. I just hope you can kill the game. Are you able to detect the misfires in the mats?
No, it doesn't have, it needs some type of a closed circuit enabled into the ECU, so I'll check that to see if this ECU has
Like in the
that.
logger,
Has
there's
it.
I don't have anything like knock sensors or any of that stuff set up, huh?
I'm gonna go through the whole map and see, but I see they're targeting really lean, and then it goes really, really rich. It was down to 0.64 lambda, which is like 928.
That's super. I always thought target would be like more like what, like 0.86 to 0.96 somewhere.
No, that's too lean.
Closer to 1?
Huh?
Closer to 1?
No, the higher the number is leaner, the lower the number.
So lower. Interesting.
So we're gonna go ahead, and then it's got 25 degrees.
But there's a sweet spot, right, with these motors. Like I saw you with your other dynos with these. I mean, not there was one K24, but there was also one motor.
Every motor's the same.
Where
So
it's
we're
like,
gonna figure out what this motor likes.
I remember watching your videos, and it seemed like there was a spot where you find on these where it's like it likes it just like a little lean or a little rich. You gotta find that, right?
There comes a threshold between, let's say, like 0.75 to about 0.79 lambda where it likes a 91.
A 4.4 gallon.
Yeah, so it all depends.
What's important with this car and this setup for drivability with decel, like when you're lifting, you know, because what I do is I lift a lot rather than use my brakes. You know what I'm saying? When I drive fast.
Well, it doesn't matter at that point because anytime you decel, what happens
you're building up
your
gases in
injectors. You're shutting the injectors off for X amount of milliseconds.
But do you have problems where you have back pressure from the turbo? Is what I'm saying, like where like you're creating too much gas and it's not getting out fast enough.
That's like if you're doing like rolling that's like if you're doing anti-lag stuff. But on diesel, your ignition goes up high, and we're not cutting ignition, but ignition goes up high, and then we're cutting the fuel, and we're limiting amount of fuel is being delivered into the cylinder, and sometimes you completely cut the fuel until the engine starts revving back down slowly.
What's crazy to me is our baseline is basically what this motor should make with no turbo. No turbo at all.
Correct.
So it's like
it's super rich.
Really a low number for this setup. So I hope it's got a little more headroom to it. You know what I'm saying? Like a really nice 2.5 will make that, you know? Maybe not that torque.
I cleaned up the map a little bit, adjusted my target lambdas. Why are these working? So I adjusted my lambda targets, adjusted the fuel targets, changed the
40
VE
horsepower
around,
right there?
and she made, yeah, I let off early, but she made
interrupt.
238 to the wheel. Picked up quite a bit of power. I took some timing out, which you would expect to make less power with less timing, but in this case, I believe, I haven't really tuned this motor turbo, but I suspect that it was way too much timing for this motor, just some abnormal amount of timing that it should not need on a boosted application. We're gonna go ahead now and adjust some more fine-tuned drivability. She's actually running on 4 cylinders, and we'll go from there. Hopefully none of the pistons are hurt or anything, because that cylinder was running on with no fuel and spark for a while. We'll go from there now and start adjusting it and see how much more we can pick up safely.
That's why all the black soot out the back, right?
Yep, way too rich. I'm gonna get the fuel perfect, and then I'll take it like another 2 degrees out. If it loses a lot of power, then I'll ramp timing back in and see how much more.
Things are progressing, right? We're not going backwards.
Not yet.
You're not this far.
I'm just want to make
We
sure.
have 4 cylinders!
I want to make sure that cylinder's not hurt, you know, because
know,
it has a little bit of blow by from the
Scared,
PCV.
bro.
You
Yeah.
saw how I took that line for the PCV out? That's usually an indication that either the rings are gapped quite a bit, or there's a little blow by coming through the piston, which I don't suspect there's anything wrong, but
I don't have like a hole in my piston, right?
no.
We'd know that, right?
Oh, you would know that for sure. You would know that.
I mean, it was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Some water? Horsepower, he's full. Add more 40 more. That's 80 horsepower in 15 minutes, brah.
Cleaning up the fuel map now. She's starting to get where she needs to be. It's a little lazy down low. I think it has a little bit of an exhaust leak. That's why it's smoking out in the front. But other than that, it's pretty good. So once I ramp timing in, I think she's gonna respond. I took a little bit more timing out right now. It's huge gains. The graph, the motor sounds good. The AFR was right where I wanted it to be on target. So she's getting closer and closer each time.
Those are big jumps, 40 a gap?
Fuel chokes down the engine from revving, right?
What?
Fuel. Too much fuel, it slows down the flame front.
Yeah,
So the flame front, it's putting pressure on it because it's burning slower. So we're taking the fuel out, and the flame front, it's burning faster, so therefore it's making more power.
You gotta find that.
Now, once we do that, then we figure out, okay, if we ignite that fuel faster, is it going to give us more power? Is it too advanced to a point where like we're putting pressure on that piston and causing detonation?
Are you thinking about spark plug gap yet, or at all, or it's not even on your mind yet at all? Like that whole blow by thing you're.
It's blowing out the spark, so I'm guessing somebody gapped the spark.
Fascinating, man. Those are great jumps, man. Keep going safely. Chicken's on the way. Getting soft on me, old man. We only got 20 out of that.
So she went a little bit on the richer side.
We lost a pony. 297, we lost one.
I'm testing stuff, so now it's getting to a point where like the motor doesn't, we'll see if the motor, what it likes, what it doesn't like.
With what you're saying, is there still room to make some more power, or you think, or is that its limit?
For this boost level, it's gonna get close to, look, we might be able to make a little bit more, not like a lot more, but.
If we had a boost controller and a solenoid hooked up, could we make like over 300 and like even just?
I'm gonna try to get it to make right now 300. So you picked up a good 100, about 80 wheel torque, just at 3,200 RPMs, and then it ramps in all the way up. Right there, I got the fuel good. So we got our air fuel ratio across here. This is how much we picked up down low from this gray line here to the gray line there. So each right here is about 50 horsepower. Huge gains, 300 horsepower from the 192 baseline. You can see it was going up and then starting to like taper down because it's so rich. It actually cut me out. It wasn't an RPM cut. Your RPM cut was a 7,000. Oh. It was a rich cut. You're getting, you saw how like I started from the beginning. I gave it, I took the fuel out, and then it gained huge power. I took some more fuel out, did timing stuff, it gained more power, and then your window starts getting smaller and smaller to a point where like now I'm taking fuel out, but the motor doesn't really respond. It's either making a little bit small changes to
is the turbo doing what it's supposed to be doing?
Yeah, everything else, you for sure have an exhaust leak.
Yeah.
You can see where all that smoke's coming out. Yeah. So that exhaust leak, if it's in the exhaust manifold, then it's hurting you power. But if it's in the exhaust on the downpipe side, then it's not hurting you
I
power.
think it might be that one bolt that I'm not able to get at yet. There's one bolt on one of the stems that's missing.
In the manifold itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, then for sure you need to tighten all that up.
I did. That's the only one.
So if we ever if we were able to tune this motor on like E85 or race gas, like max ECU, you can put a switch, activate alternative maps, and then we could do like a race gas tune where like, okay, let's boost 14 pounds and this thing might make 400.
Right, I was going to ask you about that, but we can't do that yet?
I mean, do you have race gas?
Well, no, I mean race gas, but like, what about the boost solenoid thing and all that? Are we going to do that, or will it help, like having that in there? At least with the punch?
Right, it would help, but what I would do is, because you've been driving the car.
Yeah, the way it was.
Right. So I would say enjoy that for a little bit.
Like go out and drive it like this?
Have fun with it and see how much power you like, because it's gained over 100 horsepower.
So like, wow, it's really great. This is enough.
if that's the case, then you're good.
Right.
If you're like, oh, hey, I want a little bit more power, then we can add the solenoid. We could add a.
We can
a
go down
switch.
that road.
Right. Yeah. And then we can go 450, whatever you want, and make power wise. Also, I would.
But I just want it very usable, like very daily. So like maybe low 300 is okay. Like.
Try that.
Yeah.
Because this is as good as it's gonna get at this power level.
So you're saying we're done already?
Technically.
Sort of more or less.
Yeah, we're done. So I'm gonna just spend some time drivability tuning because it's still rich part
Appreciate
throttle.
that. Yeah. No, but so we went from like supposedly like 120
Probably because
to like 300. Like.
You came in with 3 cylinders. He was misfiring.
Yep.
Figure out the wiring.
Yep.
Fix the wiring. Got it running on 4 cylinders again.
The injector was bad there.
Yeah. So now everything is good. She's making 300 horsepower. So we'll go take her for a ride.
Down.
Yeah, and then see how you like it.
Are you gonna come with me with a laptop and do the cool like tuning while we go, or what?
All of it. But the thing is, like, look, you can only go up from here.
Right.
This tube needs to go underneath because right now you're getting all hot air.
Hot air, I
from
hate
the
that, I know.
inner-
I would go around that with cold air.
Yeah, I would go a lot lower, but
That's
then
why I turn the fan all the time, because that puller creates cold air right in front of it. It's sort of a trick, but yeah. I'm a big fan of cold air. I know.
just remember you don't want to go too low because if it starts raining, you don't want to suck in any
I
water
think I'll come
either.
off in a second. I can just run it dirty up front with a guard on it. But
That might actually be better for the turbo.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
maybe we gain a couple horsepower. Just twist it off. Get on it. That happens sometimes?
look at that.
Huh?
You like 326 better?
See what I mean? He puts his mind to it. We got power.
Look at that. You gained 26 horses just by taking that off. Look at that.
What did we take off again? Oh yeah, we opened up the front end of the turbo. It's like we're 20 horsepower. I guess I was sandbagging that turbo, huh? A little bit. What is it? Little magic doesn't tell its tricks.
That filter. The magic touch.
Maybe we should do some more pulls and see if we clean it out, blow the cobwebs out.
No, it's fine there because I'm gonna leave it there a little.
People get greedy, huh? They want more and more and more.
I'm gonna leave it a little bit on the conservative side.
But you just keep making like leaps, aren't you curious? Like how high will it go?
Yeah, well, I mean, I could put a boost control on this thing and make 500. I'm not curious. I know what it's gonna do.
On
but the
pump
thing,
gas it would? No, we gotta put
well, it would. I might. It's gonna risk the motor, but the thing is,
Just leave it here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So enjoy this for a while. You got 100 and you have 136 horsepower more than when you came in.
So our total gains for today were about almost, if you round up, 140. 136 rounds up to 140 in my book.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include the cylinder that you were down.
Plus it's an M3, that's worth plus 5 horsepower on paper.
For sure, for sure. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and clean up the
Oh, man.
drivability now, idle, and
I should be
call it a
happy
day.
with this number right here today. Guard,
What?
can we just change that 6 to the 2 and the 6 around?
That's an expensive.
262 sounds tough.
So check it out. We're gonna leave it here power wise. She is ready. Air feels nice and smooth. We picked up a lot of horsepower, about 140 horsepower. We also we didn't do a baseline pull obviously when it was on 3 cylinders because it was the injector that was an issue. So think about it. This motor was running for a while with no injector to the cylinder, and you had a spark firing. So imagine how hot that cylinder got. So this thing was realistically probably making like 130, 140 horsepower, being rich and being on 3 cylinders. I'm happy with that. We're gonna go ahead and leave it. The graph looks nice and smooth. It's creeping boost here. That's why you see the torque and the horsepower climbing. The air fuel ratio went a little bit on the richer side here, but we're gonna leave it because it's quite a bit of boost up top. On E85 or race gas, this thing on the same boost level will probably make it good another 50 horsepower. So I did the drivability right there when I was holding it at a specific RPM, and now we're gonna go ahead and test it out and see how he likes it.
Are you able to determine if like the fueling system is...
Ultimate driving expensive machine. I wish that rear end looked like that. I mean, look at when you look at this portion, she's not pretty. She just makes a table, and then you go lower and lower, and she just gets
Oh.
beefy.
He gets NASCAR underneath there quick.
All right, and then you bend her over like, yo!
Fat puddle of oil. It's not good. Fat. We blew something out, maybe?
Oil pan.
What?
Oil pan.
What do you mean oil pan?
It's coming right off the oil pan on the back side of it. It looks like it's coming from the back side of that housing right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry, doggy.
that was a lot of oil.
How was it?
Amazing, so much different. Like it runs like it's supposed to, but like on steroids. Very drivable, very good power enough. Like we hit the rev limiter a couple times on that little country road, and I think that was way faster.